My vision for the Gore Range Natural Science School is to have such a robust program that every child that's growing up in the Vail Valley can participate in our programs every year, at least once, maybe 3 times per year. My vision for the future of Walking Mountains is that it truly does change the culture of our community so that everyone here has a deep connection and love of the outdoors. I remember the first day that I met Kathy Borgen, and I'd say our visions for the community and for conservation are really in alignment, and she has contributed so much to this organization.
When I met Kim Langmaid, I experienced a sense of excitement and relief. For me, seeing a woman founding a science school is revolutionary, and she never wavered. I never hesitated. I jumped right on board. One of the early things that we did was we decided that we didn't want a remote campus. We wanted an accessible campus so that our mission and vision could be shared by many.
In the early days when we were looking for a permanent home for Walking Mountains, I met with the executive director of the Eagle Valley Land Trust, and lo and behold, we discovered this small piece of land near Avon that was owned by Oscar Tang.
So we braved Oscar Tang in his living room in Sprattle Creek and asked him and told him a little bit more about the mission. And of course, he was pretty skeptical.
Well, this was really Kim's idea. Kim, you approached me about giving this piece of land for the Walking Mountain. And at first I thought you were being very presumptuous. But as I thought about it, it's really the perfect site for Walking Mountains.
Oscar had an incredible vision for this organization, and he took a big chance on this new fledgling nonprofit. And it also came with a challenge, and that challenge was that we rise to the occasion and raise the funds to build this incredible campus.
At the beginning, we didn't have much in the way of funds to pay anybody. So one time it got so desperate that I extended a line of credit to the organization so it could meet payroll.
But I really hadn't raised enough money at that point, and lo and behold, I go to the post office and there is a check for $5,000 from Harry Frampton, and that really made the difference for us getting started.
So this is how we ensnared Alan Danson, the most talented volunteer fundraiser in the Valley. I love Alan. I said to Kim, you take him out to lunch. And I said, you tell him about the mission and the vision, and I'll bet that he'll come on aboard. And yep, he sure did.
I was approached by Kathy Borgen. She was the kind of person I couldn't really say no to. Kim told me of her vision for inspiring stewardship throughout the valley, and I was sold, immediately sold. Marky and I were on our way to see the lawyers. My cell phone rang, and it was Jay Precourt. Jay said, I spoke with Oscar. I know what he's done. Would you be interested in a gift to fund the main building on the campus? I hung up the phone. I turned to Marky and I said, Marky, this campaign is going to be a piece of cake. We don't even have to call the donors, they're calling us.
Oscar's gift of land was a challenge to our community of donors. And the first one to accept that challenge was Jay Precourt. And with his generous support, there was a cascading effect to that.
Jay and I decided to make one of the first large donations to Walking Mountains many years ago. I think it's probably twofold. I think the leadership in King Langmaid and her genius was part of it. I also think my father's longtime relationship with Oscar Tang was really important. Building a school in our community that really focuses on getting kids into nature and understanding that connectivity with nature was really, really important for us.
And that's what it takes. It takes that initial vision from these incredible donors that believe in our mission and what we're doing to get to where we are today. I remember talking with Pete and Pat about what a difference staff housing would make, for example. And they supported certainly the Frechette Field Studies Base Camp And now the Pete and Pat Frechette educator community, it's really transformed our programs because now we're able to serve more students than ever. Without that housing, it simply would not be possible. Bill and Penny George really have a vision of environmental stewardship for our community. Bill always said, don't limit your vision. Never limit your vision. And that's why they supported the original George Meadow Learning Studio at the Tang campus. And when we approached them for a gift here at Sweetwater, they just couldn't believe what this place was and the potential for opportunity for educational programs here.
We really appreciate Walking Mountain's incremental approach to development. It has always started with great vision, come up with projects to fulfill that vision, funded them, and then moved on to the next project. We've done it here on the Avon campus, and now we're doing it in the Sweetwater campus, a step at a time.
What inspired us and what continues to inspire us is the work that's going on here. Seeing all of these school children doing well on their science tests, seeing visitors appreciating the natural environment and learning a lot about it. I mean, we're just really proud to be part of this effort.
It's one thing to have the land, but to make it useful, I think, really took the whole community. And this is what makes Walking Mountains strong, that it is not dependent on any single donor or benefactor.
Ann Smead has been a longtime visionary in our community. She's played an important leadership role.
We got this brilliant idea. They were going to come talk to Markian and sell him Sweetwater. Of course, it didn't take any selling at all. It just took a little fundraising. In 2015, after the Vail Mountain School Board considered the opportunity to sell the Sweetwater property to Walking Mountains, the deal was consummated in the summer of 2015. The end game was, as I've said before, to have that property available to all the kids of the Vail Valley, not just mountain school kids.
You know, I attribute a lot of our family's involvement to my father, Jay Precourt, who is an extraordinary visionary when it comes to sustainability. You know, my dad just keeps carrying the torch and keeps showing me the way. He was really the mind behind the Sweetwater campus.
We've been fortunate throughout our history to have a very engaged and generous board. An example of that is Kelly Bronfman. Kelly and Sam have been generous throughout our history. It's really remarkable how much they've done for us.
I believe probably the greatest strength of this organization, other than Kim's amazing vision, is the leadership of Kim and Markian. The two of them together, who I name the dynamic duo, have consistently, over decades, shown the ability to create a team environment and, not just with the staff, but with the board, and help everybody move from one phase to the next, from the environmental science school to the education center to the sustainability, enveloping the sustainability arm. The two of them are remarkable. They really are extraordinary.
I'm often asked, how did Walking Mountains get from where they were in the early days to where we are today? And it's really about the people. It's about our generous donors. It's about our highly capable and strategic board who've just provided incredible leadership for this organization. It's also about our programs and our staff. We just couldn't do what we're doing without the creativity and the innovation of our staff.
One of the most, rewarding things is to see the ripple effects of this organization. When I hear about some of our graduates going on to create new organizations across the country, they call me and tell me how much of an influence this place had on them. That's the most wonderful thing.
I've had a lifelong interest in education and a commitment to education, and it was very natural for me to fund the Foley graduate program. It's very exciting for me to see us helping to develop the future stewards of our environment. I'm really excited and inspired to see our graduate students stay in the Vail Valley and become leaders and key participants in organizations. They're the real visionaries.
Oh, I think the staff is very professional and motivated to maintain a place in the community like this. Together we came up with this idea of an enhancement for the staff here.
One way that you retain and develop a staff team is through professional development. And we're so fortunate to have the Peter Nell Endowment for Professional Development that Pam and Ben had the vision to support.
And what we ended up doing is endowing a professional development fund that every year provides money, a budget item, that's available for the staff in order to enhance their skills. And honestly, I am totally convinced that this thing is making a huge difference and will allow Walking Mountains to carry out their mission in the years to come.
It's one of the more rewarding things to see a piece of property that I own to be brought to life the way that Walking Mountains has.
I said one time at a Walking Mountain event, to have kids be able to sleep under the stars. Can you imagine for all the kids of our valley to be able to do that?
My vision for the Walking Mountain Science Center is kind of the present, to be honest. I think we're doing it. I hope there's a lot of women engineers out there and women scientists and women doctors because of us.
One more thing that I think is probably the most important at all. We trust Walking Mountains, and I think that the community trusts Walking Mountains Science Center.
I know and I have seen us in the process of creating better students today who I know will be better stewards of the environment tomorrow. And that is worthy of support.